For today's video, I want to show you guys 4 ways to increase your closing rate as a high ticket closer. And I'm going to show you guys some of the things that I did and some tricks that I did at the beginning of my high ticket closing career. And it's actually pretty simple. These are the 4 ways, fundamental things that you need to keep in mind with. And it will just help you get that extra 10-15% increase of your closing rate. So let's say you're closing at 10% currently, you should be able to get to 20-25% by doing these things consistently. So this is what I did. So let's get straight to the point. I don't want to waste your time because your time is valuable. So first things first is review your calls. This is the most fundamental things. If you're a closer, you must review your call. You need to at least review 1 call a day as a closer. If you're just simply closing, you're not building any business on the side, you're not doing anything, your sole focus should be just reviewing all your calls after you review them. And even let's say, oh, this is terrible, I don't want to watch it. You actually need to watch it, even though it's very terrible. You did bad already, you did this. But you actually, seeing it, visually and actually hearing the way you sound, it will help you actually just be more conscious on how you sound like in sales calls. So things to be aware of when you're reviewing your calls is call flow. So first things first, call flow. Pretty much just how do you kind of navigate through the call? How fast is it, right? When do you transition? Kind of just see where you're at in terms of that. That's how you kind of know how to transition. So you understand, okay, maybe I'm sticking too long in this section in this call. Maybe I'm just too fast. Did I avoid a question? Should I have done this? So this will kind of just help you become more aware of it and take notes when you're watching it, right? And tonality wise, like how do you sound when you're talking in the sales calls? Is it good? Is it bad? Am I not emphasizing something, or am I not becoming more serious, more stern? Do I need to become more kind or assertive when I say something, right? Or am I kind of undecisive, or am I what's that word, unsure when I say something? So when you're unsure, you kind of transfuse that energy from your prospect, and what happens is they get the energy and they just have this they start switching to this uncertainty mindset. It's because the way you talk to them, right? So you need to have conviction on when you're talking to them. So pitching wise, like this, one of the most important part of the entire call. If you fuck everything up, but if you don't know how to pitch, it's almost like you need to understand the pitching should almost be conversational, right? So make sure you're not very robotic. You're just not just following script by script. You're actually understanding, listening, and you're engaging the prospect, and you're including them while you're in the sales call, right? So make sure that they're included through the plan. So you're not just like, oh, I'm reading my script. This is what we're gonna do. This. Where's your money? This is how much it is. Give me your credit card. So in the dream, in the utopian world, that's what would every closer would like. But you need to understand that pitching, you need to engage with them. You need to include them on the pitch, tie down all their problems, their pains, their goals, their desires through the pitch, right? So, and then next one is framing. Understand that you should always be on frame, and also kind of like you can play around it as well. What you can do as well is make it feel like they're in frame and they're in control. They can have the decision, but you're still in control, right? Because you're conscious of where you're at on the call. You're not gonna know this if you don't know where you're at the call. That's why you need to review your call. That's why, like framing, that's how you do it, right? So, and lastly, time. How long do you last in your sales calls? Your sales call shouldn't take an hour, like 2 hours. Like that's just insanely too long. My average call time now is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, right? So it shouldn't take that long. You should be already pitching at 15 minutes or something like that. 15-20 minutes if you did everything right, So it depends too. It depends on each prospect. Also the pre-sales call, what did you guys do? Depends on the offer, right? So there's a lot of aspect that comes into it. But time-wise, kind of just be conscious on like how long is your calls. So just understand that as well. Second thing is mock calls. This is one of the most important things. I practically did this every single day when I was starting off. Mock calls is like that one thing. So let's say if you don't have an offer right now, go find a friend who's trying to get into high ticket closing as well to just do some mock calls. So this will really just help you become more comfortable talking through whatever, like the computer, right, or the Zoom call, and just will really just help you. So to work on mock calls is your tonality. So that's the number one thing that you need to work on, and just like how the framework is. So I didn't put it here, but also second thing is the two main things that is very important when you're working on mock calls is tonality and objections. So simulates certain scenarios, certain objections that you should expect the prospect will give, right? So ask your friend who's trying to get into, like, think about, let's say, give an example of, like, let's for example a dating offer, right, or whatever offer you're in. So let's say a dating offer, right? So think about all of the objections that you can think like they will give you, right? Oh, what if she doesn't say yes, or oh, I don't have enough money, all these things, and then give those things, simulate those scenarios where the prospect gives the objection and handle it. So once you're actually in live sales call, you can handle those because you've already practiced it. You've already had war tracks and you've built up your war track, right? So those are the two main things tonality wise, is just because of conviction. Again, pitching as well is very important. And make sure you're listening to the prospect. Make sure you're listening, right? Practice that while you're doing mock calls, listening to your friend you're doing mock calls with. So listen to them, what are they saying, and go with that. Not just robotic frame. Don't be very robotic on your sales calls. Just don't be so reliant, and don't make the script a crutch where you don't even know what to say to the next thing, because it should be natural. The transition should be natural. And then third one is you could do the same thing, right? So the reason why I put the right offer, because you could only do so much as well. You could be the best closer, but if you're not in the right offer, like, it's not gonna work out. You're not gonna make as much money as you can if you're in a terrible offer. Like, let's be honest here. A lot of offers out there are fucking trash. Like, they are terrible. They need a lot of work. They shouldn't be even in the market. So you need to understand this, that you need to be in the right offer as well to perform the best. Because a bad closer could close really good, a decently amount in a really good offer. So make sure you're actually in a good offer as well. So what to look for a good offer? So first of all, make sure they have testimonials, so they're not just bullshitting you like, oh, this and that. Because if they have testimonials, you should have already that instant conviction that, oh, I can get the result for the prospects that I'm talking to, right? Second thing is lead quality. Where do they get their leads, right? Make sure you ask these questions on the interview. I'm actually going to make a video as well for the next video, is what to do or how to prepare in the interview for becoming a closer, etc., right? So third thing is fulfillment. Kind of just see how they do their fulfillment. What's the time gap between the result and then becoming a client? And also call volume, right? So how many calls should you expect per day? Because the lesser you get, the more rustier you get. So make sure the offer that you get into, you have a lot of volume, because that's what will beat anybody, right? So this is where you get your reps in. I mean, at first, sure, disqualifies a lot of the prospect if they're unqualified. But let's say, tell your setter, hey, just book in even if they're unqualified at this moment, so I can just get some to be comfortable in pitching this offer. Just book them in. So be able to practice pitching the offer. Becoming more comfortable in pitching it, so I can actually practice. So just do that. You can do that as well if you're in a right offer. You could definitely do that. And then lastly, number 4 is conviction. I saved this for the last because it's probably the most important thing. You could be the worst closer. Everything could fuck up. But if you believe in the product and you can give the result, and you transfuse that energy to your prospect, that you believe that they can get the result. You believe that they can get the result. Your conviction will translate to them, and they will believe that they can actually get the result as well. So actually, morally, this is very, just a warning. Actually believe in things that will give you the result. So this is the easiest way for you to actually increase your Closing rate, a lot of you guys are in an offer where you don't really believe it. Oh, is this a scam? Is this guy gonna pay me? Like, make sure you're in a good offer to actually have conviction. This is the most, probably one of the most important thing in an offer, is you believing that they can get the result. Like, if I was a client for this coach or this agency, would I truly believe that I can get the result, right? So conviction is key. Make sure that you believe on whatever you're selling, because that will just literally increase what your closing rate is. Again, this will increase at least 15 to 20% of your closing rate if you actually just consistently do it. The mock calls and then the reviewing calls, do this daily, 5 times a week, or on your weekends, do this, take notes, right? So if you do these 3 things, you should be able to increase your closing rate to 15 to 20%. Okay, so I hope you found something valuable in this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop them in the comment section below. Or if you need help or anything like that, hit me up on Instagram and I'd be happy to help you out. But yes, that's it for today's video. I hope you found something valuable in this video. Again, be a creator, not a consumer. Create something today that will inspire you and others. Peace.